Elazar, how are you, Elazar?
Baruch Hashem, Walter, how are you been? Very good. Good week?
Good. Yeah.
A busy week?
Huh?
You have a busy week?
Busy. Yeah, thank God. Busy. Yes,
That's
we're
good.
busy. How about
Busy.
you?
Picking up. Busy.
Good.
Busy.
Good.
Good morning.
Morning.
We're on Vav Amid Aleph. But we learn this halacha about the difference between Bechor and regular Kachim from Ben Azai, the Tanya, Ben Azai Omer. It says, Lo Yeratzeh Hamakrivo So. The Torah's already told us don't delay offering your korban. That maybe there's another law that if somebody delays his neder, he's oiver the din of Bal Yerotze. Din of a law of not being acceptable to Hashem. Somebody who delays bringing his korban, he's over Bal Ta'acher, but he's not over Bal Teratze. So what do we see from the word B'chachet? El B'chachet v'lo B'ishtachachet. To teach us that when you delay your korban, it doesn't cause a chet for your family member like your wife. Now, why would I think it would cause, if I don't bring my korban, why would it affect my wife? I might have thought Hoil v'am Rav Yochanan. V'item Rabbi Lazar ein ishto shalot mesa. Ela im ken mevakshim mimenu mam ve'ein lo. One of the reasons Chazal say that a person's wife passes away is because he owes money. He doesn't have money to pay back. If you don't have money to pay, why should your mishkav, meaning the person you sleep with, be taken away from you? So maybe well, when you commit to bring a korban, you don't bring it. It's a very similar type of avera like mavakshim mimenu mam ve'ein lo. Maybe nami ishto mesa. Kamash that no b'chachet v'lo b'ishtachachet. There's another set of psukim that refers to not bringing your korban. It says in Dvarim, Motzas vasecha tishmor vasita, that which comes out of your mouth you should be shomer and do. Asher nadarta l'Hashem Elokecha, the way you made the neder to Hashem. Nidava. Asher dibarta b'ficha. That's the pasuk. So this brisa analyzes this pasuk. Ton Rabbanon. Moitzas v'sechazu mitzvah saseh. That when you bring a korban in time, you actually are makayim a mitzvah saseh. Tishmor, like shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad. One is a positive aseh, one is a negative aseh. Here also, tishmor refers to zu mitzvah lo saseh, that if you don't bring your korban in time, you're over Allah. V'azita azhara lebezdin sheyasucha. V'azita is a positive directive to Bezdin that they have to force you to do it. Kasher nadarta ze neder. When you say Harei Alai Shlomim, L'Hashem Elokecha, Elu Chatos V'Shamos Oilus U'Shlomim, refers to those four types of korbanos. Nidava is kamashma. Nidava is Harei Zu Shlomim. You point to an animal and you say this is a shlomim, as opposed to Harei Alai. That creates a chiyuv gavra, where even if you lost the animal, you have to bring another one because it's a personal responsibility. If it's in the dove and you say Harei Zu Shlomim, it's a chiyuv chefza, i.e., if that chefza, the animal, gets lost, that's it. There's no achrayus anymore that you have to bring another one. Asher dibarta elu koche ben kabayis. When you donate to ben kabayis, to temple upkeep, you don't give a korban, but you donate bricks or wood or something to the Beis Hamikdash, koche ben kabayis, it falls under the same dinim. Beficha zu tzedakah. Beficha refers to giving tzedakah taniyim. Okay, that's the baraisa. Omar Mar. Motzas v'secha zu mitzvah saseh. So if you bring the korban in time, you are makayim mitzvah saseh. Lamali, why do I need this? We already have a pasuk, uvasar shama, vavesim shama. You shall come there and bring it. Nafka. And then it says tishmor. It's our brisa said zu mitzvah lo saseh. Lamali. We already have a pasuk, lo sa'acher l'shalmot nafka. Don't delay or be late in bringing your korban. And then our brisa said, v'asita azhar lebeis din shiasucha. The Bezdin has the power to force you. Lamali, miyakriv oso nafka. There's another pasuk that says yakriv oso, and we learned somewhere else that Bezdin can make you do it. The Tanya yakriv oso, malamit shekoyfen oso. Bezdin forces you. So, Yaakov Bakor, how can you be forced to do something against your will? Talmud Lomer L'Tzono. The pasuk says you gotta want to do it. So if somebody's forcing you to do it, how are you Makayim L'Tzono? Kate said, you have to beat him until he says, I want. So it's a combination. So the Gemara asks a number of these questions. Why do we need these extra psukim? Because we have a case where a person said, I am going to bring a korban, a shlomim, but he wasn't mafresh the korban yet. The chad is afresh v'loy akriv. I designated the animal, but I didn't makriv it yet. That you're over on both cases. Utsricha. Now, why would I think that I would not be over? The iyashmin omar v'loy afresh. Because if we're talking about the case of, I said, Harezu, I'm going to bring a shlomim, but I didn't separate an animal. Fine. Mishum deloy kaima ledibure. He wasn't mekayim his dibur. He said he was supposed to do something, he didn't do it. Fine, you're over. Aval afresh v'loy akrev. But if he designated the animal and he just hasn't been makrivid yet, ema, listen, kol hechadi isa be'gazad rachmana isa. A person could have a svar to say, I've designated it as a korban, wherever it is, even if it hasn't been offered yet, it's sort of in the base otzar of the Kodesh Baruch Hu. Haaretzum lo al Hashem, and maybe I'm not over bal ta'acher if I already was mafresh the animal. So I needed the pasuk to tell me no. Even if I designated the animal and I hadn't brought it, I'm still over the avera. So let's say the pasuk was going to go for the case where I separated the animal, I just haven't been makravid. The komashi leila gabe, he's actually committing an avera. He's keeping it with him. He is over the avera. But let's say a person had said, I'm going to give a shlomim, and he hadn't been mafresh it yet. Maybe you'll say a svara of ema dibura lo klumu. In some aspects, dibur is not a maisa. What did I do? I just said something. And therefore, maybe I'm not over. So the Gemara says, Hashana Daf ksiva. But making a nadava, it says beferish utnan ezeu neder haomer harei alai ola. Someone says, I have an achrayas on me to bring an oila. Vezeu nadava haomer harei zu ola. Umabe neder nadava. What's the difference? Neder, if I say harei alai meso nignav, if the animal got died or stolen, chayav bach you have to bring in another animal. Nadava, if I say harei zu shlamim meso nignava, ain't a chayav bach yusa. I don't have to bring it. So what do I need a pasuk that a baraisa that went through neder and nadav? I already have all these dinim. Amarav mishkachasla kigon de omar harei alai ola almanas she'eni chayav bach yusa. You have to cover the case of a person who makes a neder harei alai, but doesn't al tanai that I'm not chayiv to replace it. So therefore, I have a pasuk to tell me I'm chayiv for that as well. Then the Brisa said, "Beficha zut staka." Rava utstaka b'chayiv alol alter. Rava says, in contradistinction to the various korbanos, that if a person wanted to bring a korban and he delays, the delay is either 3 regalim or 3 regalim kesidron, like we said, or 1 regel or 2 regels. The din by tzedakah is immediately. That means if I don't give the tzedakah right away, I'm chayiv right away. My time, huh? The hakaimi anim. There are anim around. Since there are anim around, you have to give it right away. So the says pshita. It's a davar pashut. Ma'od the same akivan to be in korbanos ksiva. Since I had a pasuk by korbanos is ada aviel shlosh regam korbanos, the concept of stock is included in these psukim that relate to korbanos. Maybe I would think that if I vowed to give tzedakah, I also have shalosh regalim to pay up the tzedakah. Kamash Mallah and also Talina Rachman and Bergalim. By korbanos, the Torah hung its hat on it has to pass over 3 regalim. Aval hacha, but tzedakah, lo, the hashchich yanim, because you have anim who need right now. So therefore, your oiver by violating your vow to give tzedakah right away. Amar Rava kivin shavar lav regel echad oiver basei. Rava says, forget about the lav. In the lav, there's a machlokes. Is it 3 regalim? Is it 1 regel? Is it 3 regalim kesidron? But I'll tell you that if I'm vowed to bring a korban and even 1 yontiv passed, I'm over and asay. Meisvik. I'll ask you a steer. Hey, Rabbi Yeshua, Rabbi Papias, al vlad shlamim, she karev shlamim. A shlamim could be a female animal. If the female animal delivered a child, the child also can be mikarev shlamim. I give testimony that we had a para of shlamim that gave birth. V'achalnu b'Pesach. Excuse me. V'achalnu b'Pesach. The mother we ate on Pesach. V'achalnu v'lo shlamim b'Chag. And the shlamim we ate sukkahs. When Chazal use the word Chag, it usually refers to sukkahs. Now, that's a problem, the way Rav is learning, because you also have a yontav of Shavuos in between. And why would Rav Papias talk about a case where they ate the shlamim Pesach and they only ate the vlad and sukkahs? It passed over a yontav, and they'd be over an asay. So maybe you'll tell me that when it says we had a para of zivchei shlamim v'achnu b'Pesach, bishma b'Pesach lo akravu, maybe you'll say they couldn't be makravid on Pesach because Eimer de mechusar zman have. Maybe it was not the 8th day, and you can't be makriv a korban then. El of Loda Batzeres. So rather, Hechi Mashi Levavile Basei. How? But Shavuos is a one-day holiday. So if the Vlad was Batzeres, how did we delay and not eat it until Chag HaSukkos? Amar Azvid Mishvei Rava, Kagon Shaya Choyla Batzeres. You know what? We wanted to offer it on Shavuos, not to be over the assay, except it was sick. So we had to wait till it got better and then offer it on Sukkot. Even though normally in Chazal, when we use the word Chag, it usually means Sukkot. Here it means Shavuos. The Idich, what does Rav Zvid say? Kol heichel Tani Pesach, Tani Atzeres. He disagrees with the concept that we can call Chag Shavuos. Chag is always Sukkos. Whenever it says Pesach, it refers to Shavuos. Now, we have a din that if I donated a korban, I didn't bring it, I let 3 Yomim Tovim pass over, I'm over a lav. Rava says, B'chol Yom v'Yom over Val Tacher. Every day that you don't bring it, you're over another law. Whether it's a bechor, whether it's other kochim. Kivin shavar aleim shana below regalim. If a year, a calendar year goes by, even though the 3 regalim did not go by, or vice versa, regalim below shana, the 3 regalim went by and it's not a year. In both cases, over val ta'acher. Now, why is that a kasha? Behind my tiyufta, where is there a meisvei on that? Amrav kana manda kamoisiv, shaper kamoisiv. The one who asked the kasha asked good. Michte. Tana alavi kumahader. The Tana is discussing lavim. Lisni b'chol yom v'yom oiver b'val ta'acher. That's why he said every day is oiver b'val ta'acher. V'idich. Tana lemikbe b'lav kumahader. The lavi yiseir lo kamahadir. To add extra lavim, he wasn't necessarily talking about. He was just trying to trigger when is the lav triggered. Gufa. This paraisa echad b'chor v'echad kol hakochim kivin shavar aleim shana b'loy regalim b'loy shana avival ta'acher. So bishma regalim b'loy shana mishkakaslo. I understand. I make a neder right before Pesach. And then I let Pesach, Shavuos, and Sukkot go by. It's 6 months, and I'm already over. So it's an example of regalim below shana. Elashana below regalim heichim mishkachasla. Describe to me a case where you can have a year go by without the 3 regalim. Okay. Hanich lamandamar is like Kesidron. Remember, there is a mandama that says, it's got to be Pesach, Shavuos, Sukkot. So if I made my neder prior to Shavuos, so I have to go through Shavuos, Sukkot, and then another Pesach, Shavuos, Sukkot before I'm over. So there, you clearly have a year that goes by without the regalim going by. Fine, Elaman de Leslie Kasidron. But the Mandover that says no, just 3 regalim have to pass. Well, how will you ever have a year go by and not the 3 regalim? Okay, Bishmal Rebbe Mishkachas Labishadamu Beres. Rebbe will give you an answer in a leap year, the Tanya. By the sugya of Batei Ir Choma, that if a person is magdish a house that's in a walled city, so there you have to give, before you evict the person, you have to give the guy a year announcement, and he has the right to redeem the house. He can buy it back. The original owner can buy it back if he does it within a year. And Rebbe says, Shana Smima, what is a year? This kind of year is a 365-day year, like a solar calendar. You count from, let's say, the 15th of Nisan to the 15th of Nisan, and you get then you get an extra month if you throw a leap month in there, because the year doesn't trigger until you get back to the original 15th of Nisan. So according to Chachamim, it'll be 13 months before the year is up. According to Rebbe, it's 365 days, even if you throw a leap month in there. So if you have Nisab Rishana, and if the leap Nisab low, he gets the guy gets an extra 30 days to buy it back. So Mishkachas Lo Rebbe. However, this concept of the 3 regalim will work for Rebbe. Why? For example, the Agdish Basar Chag HaMatzos. Person made his neder right after Pesach, and the Chimata Shili Adar Basra, by the time the next Adar Beis rolls around, it's going to be Shana Malya. He'll have committed 365 days, but he hadn't reached Pesach yet. So he triggered the year. He's over Baal Ta'acher, but regalim loy malu, but didn't go through the Shalosh regal. So for Rebbe it'll work. El Rabbanan Eichim Mishkachas won't work for Rebbe, for the Rabbanan, because they hold it's the 15th day of Nisan to the 15th day of Nisan. So Kiritani Rav Shmaya. Atzeres, Shavuos is not always Vav Sivan. Pamim Chamisha, Pamim Shisha, Pamim Shiva. Depends on whether the previous 2 months, Nisan and Iyar, were Mole or Chaser. Shneim Leim, if both Nisan, Iyar that year were Mole, the Eidim didn't come, right, Chamisha, then Shavuos will be the 5th of Sivan. Shneim Chaserim, if both were Chaserim Shiva. Echad Mole, Echad Chaser, like it normally is, Shisha. So according to that Shita, if you made your neder on the 6th of Sivan, which was after the year when Shavuos fell on the 5th of Sivan, so if you made your neder the day after that Shavuos on the 6th of Sivan, and then the next year Shavuos fell on the 7th of Sivan, so the year went by and the Shalosh Regalim didn't go by. So it's a strange case, but the Gemara found an example of how it would work. Uman Tana the Polagale de Rav Shmaya, who is the Tana who argues with Rav Shmaya is Acherimi, the Tanya Acherim Ein bein Atzeres Latzeres, and Ein bein Rosh Hashanah LaArba Yomim Bilvad. They disagree. The calendar's fixed. It's always 354 days in a lunar year. Therefore, 12 months will always be 350 days. And therefore, from one year to the next, there's always 4-day difference. For example, Rosh Hashanah this year is Sunday, the next year it's going to be Wednesday. And in a leap year, where they add a 29-day month, so 28 days would make it even because it's 4 weeks, right? In Ma'aseh Shana Muberes, Chamisha, there are 5 days. But there isn't this Shavuos is always going to be the 5th or 6th or 7th because we go according to a fixed lunar calendar. Boy Rav Zera. Yoyresh Ma'aval Ta'acher. Person designates a korban and dies, and his heir inherits it. And he normally would bring a korban that he inherits. However, does he fall under the same group, under the same guidelines of Bal Ta'acher? It says, Ki tidor neder am Rachmana v'haloi nodar. The Yoresh never made the neder. Oy dilma uvasa shama v'avesam shama. You have to bring the korban physically to the base of Mikdash. V'ha machayev. And the Yoresh is machayev to do so, and maybe he has to do it, bismano. So Toshma, the Tani Rav Chia, me imach. It says, Ki darosh yidrishenu Hashem Elokecha me imach. Prat li Yoresh. It excludes the Yoresh. The Yoresh is specifically excluded from the law of Bal Ta'acher. We learned that me imach refers to when you're a farmer and you harvest the field and you drop leket, or you have to leave the corners of your field for the aniyim, so that falls under the same category. So I thought we learned that from me'imach. So kari be'imach v'kari be'me'imach. So we learn both dinim because it says me'imach. Boy Rav Zera. Isha ma'i b'val ta'acher is a woman that made a neder to bring a korban and doesn't bring it. Is she chayv b'val ta'acher? Now, mi amin and halom chayv b're'iyah. A woman, it says, kol zechurcha. All males have to physically show up to the base of Mikdash to be seen, the sholosh regalim. A woman is not in the parsha of re'iyah. And so maybe, since there's no chiv re'iyah by Mikdash of regel, it's a mitzvah to say shazman grama, that noshim are pturos. So maybe she's not chayiv if she doesn't bring her korban bismanu. Now, a woman is mechayiv in mitzvah simcha sachad, and therefore maybe she is connected to these mitzvahs that are somewhat connected to regalim, i.e., if you don't bring it by these certain regalim, you're over. So maybe she would be over bal ta'acher. Abai answers, yeah. It's clear that she's going to be chayiv because she is mechuyiv in simcha sachag. Afraid the Gemara, miyomer Abaya hachi. Abaya never said that a woman has her own independent mitzvah simcha. V'amar Abaya isha baila misamcha. A woman's din of simcha is based on her husband. She doesn't have a mitzvah to say to be sameach. The Baal has to be Messiah, and the Baal has to give her jewelry and to make his wife happy, but there's not an independent chiv on the Isha. So Abaya was responding, Lidvar Rav Zera Ka'amar.
You should remember that. Got to buy some jewelry.
Right. The Rambam paskins that a woman is mechayiv in Bal Ta'acher. He paskin like Rav Zera. The Kesef Mishnah explains there that he paskin like Abaya, but there is a kiyum of mitzvah simcha independently on the woman. Iboiluhu. B'chor me'emesai monin lon shana. When a firstborn is born, so you have to bring it as a korban. Now, you have a year to bring it. When do we calculate the year? Abaya Aram Isha Shenoila. From when it's born. Now, you cannot bring it as a korban when it's born. You got to wait 8 days. The year count starts when it's roy to be offered as a korban, which is when it's 8 days old. Below pligi, abesam abebalmum. There's no machlokes. Depend if it's a tam, then in a chanami, an unblemished animal could be brought as a korban. So then there would be a difference between the two sheetas. But the balmum, you can't offer it anyways. So there, they would both agree that it's since it's born.
Okay, sure. Good Shabbos, everybody.
Shabbos tomorrow night at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
Shabbos.